Because that's the thing, like you shed light on stuff and it's scary for people who are living in the dark. But that doesn't mean there's something wrong with you. I spent the last 3 days crying, and I woke up this morning crying, and my eyes hurt. I have a headache, but I do want to do this video because I'm currently in my periods. And when I have my periods, I'm shedding, and I always see it as an opportunity to shed, not just on the physical level, but shed what is not serving me anymore. Close the old doors, release the stories, release everything that is weighing heavy inside of me. And when I'm in my periods, it's the perfect time for that because my body is literally doing that. My body is literally shedding the old to prepare for the new, to prepare for a new ovulation, to create life. And every month we go through that cycle of creating life, of opening ourselves to life, opening the portal, and then closing it back, shedding it, clearing the space, preparing the space for life to come back. And this video is not only about your period or when you're bleeding. This is about our power as women, our strengths as women that we don't talk about enough. And I never heard about this before a few years ago. I never knew what my power as a woman was, what my gift was. I was told, I was asked to fit into a world that I do not fit in, to function in a way I do not physically function as, and it left me drained. It left me feeling like I was not enough, like there was something wrong with me. And it took me a lot of healing, a lot of connecting to myself, to my periods, to my womb. It took me so much reframing my whole perspective on myself and on life and on my role here. And this is why I'm making this video, because I feel like a lot of women are not living in their fullest potential. And I want to offer you insight on how to move towards that. Maybe see the stories that don't belong to you, to clear them, and to really step into your empowered state. So for 12 years, I took the pill. I started when I was 15. I was not even sexually active. I took it because the nurse at school told me that people my age start taking the pill, and she told me I should take it. I had no idea what it was except from the fact that it would allow me to control my periods. It would allow me to not be pregnant. So there was no like really big reason for me to take the pill. It was just offered to me. I said yes, and it was pretty accepted. My mom was like fine with it, everyone was fine with it, because it was just normal, you know, for the woman to just take a pill and suppress her own cycles. Because when you're taking a pill, you're taking hormones, and those hormones, you're taking the same hormone, the same level of hormone every single day throughout the month. And our natural cycles don't work like that. Throughout the month, we have different levels of estrogens and progesterone, and our cycles are going to change for us to be able to procreate, you know? And now we're shutting all of that down. We're shutting our own natural cycle. And even when you fall in your periods, like when you stop the pill to get to bleed and then you start it again, it's a fake period. It's not like you didn't actually ovulate. But I never questioned that. For 12 years, I was taking the pill, and I loved it. I loved it because I could control when I got in my periods. I would take the pill 3 months in a row, because after that moment, I would start having spotting. And it was really nice to not be in my periods. And I had the belief that my cycle, my periods, was a liability, like it was in the way. I had this belief that my periods was something to be avoided, was something that was not fun. And it's crazy to me how much shame and negativity there is around the cycle of a woman, and how bleeding to some level is impure, it's disgusting. How, and the things that are said about a woman when she's bleeding, oh, she must be in her periods because she's acting crazy, because she's being emotional. And we don't realize the harm this creates. on a soul level. Like we don't realize how this is disconnecting us, and we all walk around thinking that there's something wrong with who we are, like inherently wrong in who we are as women, and it's time for us to change that. And for so long I carried so much shame into being a woman. I found myself disgusting, and it was such unconscious. I was not like, oh, it's disgusting, I'm bleeding. It was just like I was carrying this shame about just the simple fact of being a woman. I didn't like being a woman. I found there was something wrong with my body. There was something wrong with me. And I've always been very intuitive, very close to my emotions, and that too felt like it didn't have its space. It didn't have its place. And there has been so much healing I had to do around this. And now I love being a woman. It's a superpower. I'm so grateful for all that it offers me. And it took different layers for me to access this. There was different points in which I was realizing my power as a woman, and now I really use it for my healing, for growth, for everything I do. So 4 years ago, I stopped the pill. It was really, no, 4 years ago? 4. It was really intuitive. I had been wanting to stop it for a while, and I didn't really know why. And my prescription was ending. I didn't feel like going to get a new prescription. And something in me said, just stop it. And I was like, really? That was in end of 2020, October 2020. I was like, really? Do I really stop it? And then it was like, yeah, just don't take it. There was something in me, it was just like, stop. And it was a really scary thought, because for so long, I thought my periods was something to be avoided. And now something in me was saying, no, like, I want to experience my cycle. And this was before me really going into my spiritual journey. So in 2021, I really entered more of a like spiritual journey. But it's crazy that I had this intuitive nudge to tap into this before. And I don't know if me stopping the pill actually even contributed for my spiritual expansion, but I think it did. I stopped, and there was something in me that was really, really excited to experience my own cycle. Since I'm 15, I'm taking this, so I've never really knew what it was to be me, to be fully me and my femininity, my cycle. I never knew what it was. And I struggled with anxiety, I struggled with depression, I struggled with a lot of issues, and I was wondering, is stopping the pill gonna help me with that? I healed a lot of these things, and I can't, again, for sure say that it's because I stopped the pill, but I feel like that was a contributing factor in a lot of ways. So what was crazy is the first time I got in my periods, after I stopped the pill, I was like, I saw blood. I was like, wow, and I can't even explain the connection I felt to my body and the gratefulness I felt of seeing blood and being like, this is mine. And it has been such a nice journey since then, because really like stopping the pill reconnected me to my cycle and made me fall in love with it. And every time I get my period every month, because I used to like be scared of getting my period every month because I knew eventually I had to stop. And I was like, oh my God, I'm gonna have to experience this every month. Ew. And there's so much people, like women see their periods as like, ew, like it's so annoying being my periods. And I hear so much women talk about this, so much women being like, oh, it's so annoying, I don't like being in my periods because like, you know, you have all these emotions and it's like, it's in the way, in a way. And now I'm put in a position where I'm actually enjoying it and I'm finding it beautiful and I'm excited to see what's ahead. I'm excited to really just get to learn my cycle and go through the different hormonal changes. Because I get to be a different person every day. I get to, in certain moments of the month, have strengths, and in other portions have other strengths, which are complementary and add to each other, and which creates like a fulfilling life where I can really tune into my cycles and make the best out of it. Like that felt very exciting. And it felt like a bit more of my higher self guiding me towards that, now that I look back. And so my journey with my femininity has been very empowering. Let's just talk about the womb for a second. We literally have a portal inside of us. We are the holder of a portal. We bring a soul into this physical world. We allow life. We are the bridge between the unseen and the seen, between the spiritual and the material and the physical. So this is why women are so intuitive, are so close to their emotions. And this is why we have been called crazy so many times. And when a girl is in her period, oh my God, she must be in her period, she's acting crazy. No, it's because we're accessing something inside of us. And I'm not saying men do not have this ability to tap into their emotions, tap into their intuition, because we all hold the feminine and the masculine to some degree. But as women, as holder of the womb, we have a heightened access. And it's time that we stop suppressing that, and it's time that we start using that for our growth and for humanity's growth, okay? We have so much power, we have so much to offer to this world, and we don't know about it because we have been asked to work and act and live as a man, quote unquote. Like, we are asked to live on this 24-hour cycle. We are asked to shut down our intuitive knowing, like, about our bodies and what we need, and to fit into a workspace and a life that we don't fit into. Like, there's different periods in the cycle that sometimes we need more rest, and sometimes we are thriving. We are in a creative mode. Just as there's only a few days in the month where we can actually, like, where that portal to create life is actually open. The rest of the month, we are in gestation. We are in preparing for the portal to open and then closing it, and then clearing the space, and then preparing for it to open. So this is the cycle we are in, and yet we are supposed to live a 24-hour day-to-day life that, like, doing the same thing every day and supposed to show up in the same energy. Like, it feels a bit fucked up to me that we can't take off during our periods. And I know that the system doesn't work like that. It would be hectic in this system that when a woman has her periods, she can take off, especially that sometimes, like, it lasts, let's say, 3 to 7 days. And the fact that we would, every month, a woman could be like, oh, I'm not coming into work, because we don't know exactly also when it's gonna happen sometimes. So it would be hectic. It doesn't work in this system. So it's not something we can even implement in the current system, but it's fucked up that the system works in that kind of way, because it's really disconnected. And this doesn't only affect women, like, this affects humanity as a whole, like, just how the system is not connected to our innate nature. But as women, like, we normalized living this way. And for me, it left me drained. It left me so tired. I never had the energy to keep up with this world. And it didn't always work like this. Like, if you look at the native teachings, they understood this, and the moon cycle of a woman was sacred, and they allowed retrieval. They understood the importance of a woman connecting to her cycle for not just her, but for everything and everyone around. And they understood the role of the woman, like what we birth into this world through our hearts. Like, we have a portal which connects us to the heart. Like, we bring that, which is beautiful. Like, even menstrual cramps, like, people who experience very painful menstrual cramps or problems in their menstrual cycle can be an indication of where you are not aligned. There's a misalignment with your true energy and your true nature. And I took out this, I have an oracle deck about the native teachings. And there's one card about when women are in their moons, so when they are menstruating. When I talk about connecting to your cycle, there's so much power in you learning what your cycle is and how it shows up and what is heightened inside of you. Since I stopped the pill, like, I found this being in my periods so powerful. And the moments where I was forced to work and couldn't take off, there was something so frustrated inside me, because there's something that's like, I'm not supposed to be working right now. I'm supposed to be resting. I'm supposed to be shedding. And I have a strong surge of clearing the things inside of me. And when they say, you're crazy, you're just being emotional, it's not true that because you are menstruating, you are being emotional. What is truly happening is you menstruating is highlighting something that is already living inside of you. It's heightening it, so it's being forced to be seen. So whatever needs to be purged, you have a heightened ability to see it. That's a superpower. That's not being crazy. That's not like, oh, she just needs to get over herself. No, this is a superpower, which is allowing you to see something that is lying dormant the rest of the time, but is still there, just like a garbage that is stinking and like, but you can't see it. And then it's putting a flashlight on that garbage, like, hey, this is where the garbage is. And then it's allowing you to clear it. So it's not about a woman being crazy. It's about a woman being in touch, seeing stuff more clearly of what needs to be cleared. And I use almost every month. It depends on the months, because sometimes I really just tune into what needs to be done. This whole process I've been through in the last 4 years made me really tap into my intuition more than I thought was possible. I've always been intuitive, but it was like dormant. And now like this period that I've had has been huge purge, next level purge, like intense. But sometimes it's softer, sometimes it's just me like retrieving and resting, like, oh, I just need to rest a little bit, you know. But now it's like, oh no, I need to clear. And I've been using my periods to clear, and it's not easy, but I'm grateful for what it's allowing me to do. So let me talk about this. The card is Moon Lodge. Back then, when a woman was bleeding, she would go to this lodge where all the women bleeding would be there at the same time, and it would be a moment of retreat. She would be freed from all of her responsibilities during that time, and it would be a moment for retreat. And in this book, it's like 6-page long, so I'm not gonna read it all, but there's always like a little poem here. So let me read that poem. Moon Lodge, place of receiving, time of going within, observance of body cycles, renewing life again. Retreating in silence, sacred black lodge of the West, woman, child, and grandmother, Earth Mother gives you rest. Beautiful. The Moon Lodge is the place of women, where women gather during their menstrual time to be at one with each other and the changes occurring in their bodies. Long ago, during the special time of moon cycles, women were removed from duties of family and allowed to retreat to the Moon Lodge to enjoy the company of their sisters. The moon time is the sacred time of woman when she is honored as a mother of the creative force. During this time, she is allowed to release the old energy her body has carried and prepare for reconnection to the Earth Mother's fertility that she will carry in the next moon or month. Our ancestors understood the importance of allowing each woman to have her sacred space during this time of reconnection, because women were the carriers of abundance and fertility. Women were the mothers who would increase the tribe by bearing children, bring fertility to the crops through their connection to Mother Earth, and hold the dreams of the nation in their wombs until those dreams became a reality. Women honor their sacred path when they acknowledge the intuitive knowing inherent in their receptive nature. In trusting the cycles of their bodies and allowing the feelings to emerge within them, women have been seers and oracles for their tribes for centuries. In Native tradition, each stage of the female's growth is cherished and explained to growing girls becoming women. Crazy how we don't get any knowledge about our cycles except the fact that we bleed every month. The first time it happened to me, I was 11, and I was like, what the fuck is happening? No one explained to me anything. There's such a disconnection. And back then, there was such a connection. And I feel like we can learn so much from these native teachings because they were living aligned with our true nature. We have disconnected ourselves from our true nature. and there's power in reconnecting. For the old wounds to be healed in a successful, creative way, it is time for women to use the idea of the Moon Lodge and retreat to the sanctity of sisterhood. Women must learn to love, understand, and thus heal each other. Every person has male and female sides. Each enters the silence of the heart to discover the beauty of retreat and receiving. The Moon Lodge can be a symbol for men and women alike, retreating and digesting the feelings that life's experiences have created is very healing. Retreat is not an act of weakness, it is an act of strength. Without retreat, the future cannot take hold in the present. Make note that you are preparing for the time of fertile action by taking a rest now. Being alone at this time will allow you to do the things that give you joy without interference. Remember that miracles can happen when you repose and allow yourself to come to your new starting place in a gentle way. This holds so much wisdom, and this is what is to be embodied for your empowerment. I want to remind you that there's absolutely no shame in your cycles and in being a woman. And if there's anyone around you that makes you feel like it's not okay, that you are crazy, or that there's something wrong with you, please retrieve from those toxic thoughts that they are putting on you. And if it's your own self having those toxic thoughts, retrieve from it, listen to it, and embody your truth. It doesn't matter what other people see or understand. This is where you reclaim your power as a woman, and you get to use that creative force inside of you to bring more life. I always tune in. I'm not going to tell you like, oh, when you're ovulating, do this, when you're menstruating, do that. Like, I invite you to tune into your body and to your needs in every moment and see, how am I feeling today? What do I need today? Do I need more rest? Because, you know, sometimes we want to create, we want to do things, and we try to do it continuously. But just as our cycles, it's showing us how creation has a cycle of its own. We are not always on. Sometimes we go off, sometimes we rest, sometimes there's different periods of the cycle of creation. That is a lesson for all of life, all of creation. Our womb is the representation of creation on earth, on the cycle of life, just as the seasons, just as everything goes through different motions. And we are the representation of that. We are not the creation. We hold the portal within us, which I don't know if you understand how powerful that is and how honorable that is. And if anyone doesn't see that strength or honor that strength, let it go. It doesn't belong to you. Let that go. Because I see it so much. Sometimes when there's posts about this on social media or just about like gender roles or stuff like that, sometimes I read the comments and I see the collective traumas and pains around this in men and women. Men hating on women and women hating on men, and this rift. And it's time that we rewire and recalibrate these things and realign. It makes me think of one of my exes 2 years ago. I was having my periods, and I'm really open about it now. I just say it. And I was just newly dating this person. And anyways, we're texting, and I tell this person, oh, I'm menstruating today. I started my period. And he's like, oh my God, that's so annoying. And he never had a period. How does he know it's annoying? He's just repeating what he heard from other women, from society. He was trying to have compassion for me for what I was going through at this moment because I was having my period. And he was just repeating what is so mainstream, what is so normalized, that it's so annoying having your period. And I told him right away, I'm like, no, I love having my period. It's such a potent period moment for me to tune in and to really, there's so much resistance in going in the ebb of flow of life. And our cycles teach us to really just surrender to what is here now and take advantage of what is here now. So I love when I'm in my periods because this is the opportunity for me to tap into this rest and into this retreat and learn from it. And I always grow from it. And I always create a new fertile ground each month, which is so powerful. And I told this person that, and he was like, wow, I love your outlook on this. So I'm glad I could have planted a seed there. And this is what I'm trying to do here. I'm trying to plant a seed here for you to release any shame you have around your feminine power, around who you are as a woman and your role to play. Because the more you tap into your cycles, the more you understand what your role is. Because it's less concrete. It's less, I build something, 1 + 1. Since we are so connected to the invisible realm, to the spirit world, to our heart space, to our intuition, what we bring into this world is not as much described in words. It's felt. It's an energy. And the more you tap into this energy, the more you can bring forward this into the world and help heal, help connect. Like, this is very powerful. We are very important. We have very important stuff to offer. And it's time we stop playing small and stop shutting ourselves down. Like, you know this. You're very intuitive. You know things that there's no reason for you to know. You just know it. And in the unhealed world we live in the unconscious survival mode everyone is in, this is seen as a threat because we are able to see things for what they are and not what people show us. So then we are pointed fingers at us as you are crazy, you are going crazy. And we see this in relationships a lot. There's a lot of women that when something is off in the relationship, when the other person is in their unconscious traumas and they do stuff or they're cheating or whatever, the woman is going to know when something is off. The woman is going to be they're going to try to communicate this to their partner. Like, I know there's something. Like, you don't have proof, you're just being crazy, you're just being emotional. And then it leaves the woman feeling so misunderstood and questioning her own sanity. Am I going crazy? Is there something wrong with me? No, there's nothing wrong with you. You have access to this information. And it's time you start using it to empower yourself and using it for good, not to put other people down, not to be in your own unconscious bias and using that energy to feed on your own traumas. Use it for your healing, use it to shed light. And who is ready, like, you can't control who is ready to have because that's the thing, like, you shed light on stuff and it's scary for people who are living in the dark. But that doesn't mean there's something wrong with you. There's just systems that are in place now in the world that are disconnected. My invitation for you is to really step into that world and know that there's so much power in it. I think I've covered what I wanted to share today in my heart. Let me know what you think in the comments. Let this be a safe space for us to express ourselves and share our truths. And I love you, my sister, or any brother listening to this. I love you too.